Are you sitting comfortably? Let's get ready for today's Jackanory. This is the tale of how I lost £90,000 in 1 week. Not only we hear how I lost it, the background towards the build up to it, you also hear about what lessons I took from losing that amount of money. Pay attention because it lets you know. Right, I'm going to tell you about the time when I traded and lost £92,000 or £90,000 in 1 week. This is going back some, and it was at a time when there was a lot of volatility in the market, as you can imagine. Originally I was trading for a futures firm as a prop trader, trading oil using what's known as butterfly spreads. That's buying 3 different instruments against each other, with each other. It was good for the company itself, and it was also good for the trader. It's good for the company, which is earned commissions on the instruments which you were trading, and also it minimised the risks because you wasn't trading it outright, i.e. just one direction. So if you chose the wrong direction and it was going against you, you're losing money, and maybe they might be losing money. But by spreading that risk, by trading a number of instruments, you were sort of diversifying that risk away. Okay, that's fine. Well, that was in 2008 when the oil crashed from 145 to 45 in a month. Loads of people suffered. I was lucky, I got a scratch, I didn't lose, I didn't make money. However, I took a break out, came back in 2010, and the problem, what happened there was that it was the Greek stuff, the Greek financial crisis. And while that was going on, instead of trading butterfly spreads, which is relatively safe, I decided I was going to trade with spreads, but it was more like an outright position, that is to say, directional. So I trade the 10-year versus the 2-year, because the 2-year lags. When you trade the 10-year, like the bond, it's more volatile, so that's as close as you can get to an outright position. Trading spread trade, not spread betting, by the way. Anyway, I'd done that and I got carved up because what was going on in Greece at that time, it was just really bad. So the last throw of the dice, I decided to trade from home, and I was using a spread betting account. That limited the trading platform I could trade on. It also limited the type and style which I could trade. In effect, I was trading like a retail trader, and that was predominantly directional, which is very dangerous. I decided to trade what's known as the DAX, which is the equivalent of the UK FTSE, but German. And I started off with an account size of £3,400. It was like a roll of the dice, really. Started trading, done quite well, got it up to £5 a point. Each incremental move was the equivalent of £5, either plus or minus, and I was doing pretty well. And so I scaled it up to £10 a point, continued to do quite well, scaled it up to 20, 30, and then 50, and then at one point £100 a point. So for each incremental move, I was making plus £100 or minus £100. I continued doing that. Can you believe I scaled it up? Well, the peak I scaled it up to was £700 a point. Now, for some people that is unfathomable, but generally it's about £500 a point. If it goes down 10 points, that's £5,000. Up 10 points is £5,000. That's the way I was rolling. And to give you an indication of what that actually meant on my P&L, it took me 3 weeks to transform 3,400 into 25,000. Just 3 weeks. Now, I'm going to show you my trading statement so you know that I'm not BSing you. That's important, yeah? Because a lot of people, they talk about these things, they never show you the actual trading statements, yeah? And I'll sort of put them in at the end to give you an indication as to what's being made and also what is possible. When you're trading something like £500 or £700 a point, it's like you're driving a speed car. Imagine you're in a Lamborghini or Ferrari on the Autobahn with your foot slapped down on the floor and you're driving at top speed, yeah? Your focus and attention is 100%. You cannot afford some rabbit running across, yeah, that Autobahn, or some antelope or deer, right? Because it's game over, game over. And that's the way I was trading. Now, one day I was trading and I had certain rules. The first rule was trade what you see. A trade on probabilities. And then the last one, which is I think the hardest, which is accept the risk. Yeah? So this particular day there was no news which was scheduled out. So it was looking to be a bit of a quiet day. And my general rule of thumb was that if it wasn't on the squawk box, i.e. that audio which tells you what's going on, the audio commentary, or it wasn't on the economic calendar, then any particular movement was probably going to be just noise and not to be taken too seriously, unless you heard it on Bloomberg. Well, that particular day, the market dropped. I went in long, I wanted the market to go up. It started dropping and falling, yeah? I was in at £500 a point and it was dropping and dropping and dropping. When it dropped about £50, 50 points, the pain was like excruciating. Now the general rule of thumb was that if it went to yesterday's low, I was definitely going to be out. And it was marked. I marked where yesterday's low was. And it kept on going against me and the losses were just killing me. So when I couldn't take any more pain, I came out before it touched yesterday's low. That was where my stop was. That was where I was going to get out completely. But I disobeyed rule number 3, which is accept the risk. And so what happened was, not only did I come out, I've done the most fatal thing you can ever do. I reversed my position. Now there are 2 bad things you can do when you're in a losing trade, frankly. Number 1 is double up. That's called martingale technique. Or number 2, reverse your position. Yeah, you can reverse your position if there's probably key indicators to demonstrate that that's the direction it's going to go. Maybe some special announcements come out, big earthquake, president assassinated or something like that. But if there's nothing, no news, it's best to just get out and lick your wounds. I reversed my position, and of course the point where I reversed my position was the point where it started to go back up again. And sure enough, it floated all the way back up to the original position, yeah, only now I was in the reverse position, so all the losses I had on the way down, I then had those losses on the way up. That fatal mistake cost me £62,500 in one afternoon. It was bad, really bad. Now, as I was trading in that fashion, it wasn't all bad because I was taking money out. My wife was expecting, we were expecting twins, thank God, and I was taking money out to buy all the baby stuff and buy clothes for myself and for her. So we bought all our baby, all the baby stuff for myself. The objective was to try and perhaps trade up to about 200,000 and then maybe put a massive deposit on the house. Now the account high was £118,000. That's so 3,400. I traded up to £118,000 at one point. Yeah, it took me, as I said, 3 weeks to turn 3,400 into 25,000. Then it took me another 9 days to turn that 25,000 into 50,000, and another 9 days, and it took me another 5 days to turn the 50,000 into 100,000. Imagine, those are big figures, life transforming figures in such a short period of time. But then the next catastrophe happened, and this was the Irish situation, the Irish question. This is when Ireland was looking to get bailed out because it was in economic catastrophe. Yeah, and that was mainly because they were thinking about bailing out or kicking them out of the European, Euro. And that day, the next day, there was a gap. Normally when you have a gap, I trade against the gap, i.e. that the market will go down to close that gap. But it didn't go down, it kept on going up. And I was devastated. Now, the previous days, I'd actually recovered from that 62,500 loss. I managed to halve that loss, and the aim was I was going to carry on doing, so I recovered it. But this gap really hit me hard. And then the next day, there was another gap up above that gap. I couldn't believe it. So I thought, well, I better just short it, and I'll make all my money back. Get all the marbles. But no, it didn't go in that direction. It went up again. And that particular day, it was £28,000 I lost, and I was devastated at that point, because I hadn't disobeyed my rules. I'd done everything what I thought I was supposed to do, and the market still get against me. And sure enough, yes, it did close that gap. But as John Maynard Keynes once said, the market can remain irrational longer than you can be liquid. Yep. So that was £28,000. Yep. Massive loss. In the end, it shook me too much. I was only waiting for the market to go about another 300 or 400 points in my direction, and I would have got that £200,000. But in the end, I finished with about £26,000. So all in all, I put in 3,400 and walked away with £26,000. I think I'd done probably over about 200 trades. Those are round trips, yeah, that's in and out over that period of time. It's over a 6-week period. I haven't matched that performance since. Yeah, I haven't matched that performance since. I have had times where I've done really well, but I have to say I have lost a lot of money, and I'd say that overall over the years I'm down and up. But what is the takeaways I got from losing that amount of money? Well, the first takeaway I got was the 1/3 rule. Number one, keep 1/3 in your account to allow it and enable it to grow. Take another third out and put it in a reserve account in case you do blow that original account. You've got something to come back to. And then the remaining third, go and pee it up against the wall, spend it on whatever it is you want to spend it on, because that's the reason why you're trading. You're there to trade money. Yeah. Once you get to the level where your reserve account is of a certain amount, yeah, where you don't feel that you need to keep topping it up, then you can change the parameters and maybe have 50% in your trading account and 50% in your to spend on what you want. Yeah. But definitely that 1/3 rule. Whenever you have an up day, I don't know, even if it's like let's say you have £100, just £33, buy yourself a beer and a round something or a meal, £33 in your reserve, £33 remaining in your account. Whatever it is, whether it's £100, £1,000, £10,000 or £100,000, yeah? If you stick to that, it will enable you to survive. Best ways really to trade are through spreads. It's boring, but it works and it's stable. But that way, trading outright, that was the way in which to go. So here in the so-called sermon, if you like, I will show you the trading record so you can have a look at it for yourself, see that I'm not making up porcupines. But more interestingly, I'll show you the actual graph as to what it looks like, what I'm talking about. That is my equity curve. All right. If you like what I've said, please obviously subscribe, like, and comment. Ask me any questions you want. I'm happy to answer them, as long as they're not insulting. And over and out.